Jimbo, a lot of sports fans knows your history, and I want to get to some football. You've had a number of number one draft picks at the quarterback spot, and I know we've been talking about having these Zoom meetings, and coaches have been trying to facilitate any kind of interaction they can with their players. How has that been different for you to try to get your quarterbacks who have to absorb a little bit more than most in college football? How comfortable have you been with how they're receiving this information without being in the meeting room and you being hands-on on the football field? Does that make you antsy in any way?
It does, but I'm going to tell you what I'm finding out. As our upperclassmen, and we're getting more detailed time to meet. Because you're always, like you say, you meet on the run, as you know, during the season. You have those 45-minute to hour meetings, but you're getting to practice, and guys are getting dressed. Right now, we're getting a lot of detailed teaching that you might not. And some of the things, I always say this, when you can teach something, when you can understand it, and we're having the leaders of our positions, like Kellen, for instance, okay, you present this to these young quarterbacks. You teach this, and you break it, and you go into detail. And when I hear him talk, and I hear him, and it's amazing. Every time, I still say to this day, I can teach a play, and I've taught it for 30 years. Sometimes I still pick up nuances that I want to do differently. And as the game changes, as I keep hearing myself say it, and allowing our upperclassmen to lead some of these meetings, and you listen in and make comments here and there, I think it actually is really helping and clearing things up, because the amount of detail we're getting to in the meetings, it's much different, in my opinion, than it usually is.
Jimbo, you were tasked with the incredible job of recruiting and also coaching Marcus Spears back in the LSU days. I want to settle a debate that we all wonder about once and for all here. Is he a better basketball player or a better football player?
Listen, I get, when he come out of high school, as great a football player, he was a better basketball player coming out of high school than he was football player. And I never forget, because, see, my spiel to him was he wanted to do both. I said, listen, you're 6'4", 280. And that was the Charles Bart. I said, but you don't have ups like Bart. I said, you don't have that vertical game like Bart. And I'll tell you a story, Laura. I do give him credit. So he had Coach Hawkins. His high school coach is a legendary coach, Coach Hawkins in the state of Louisiana. So Coach Hawkins, they set a back pick, and he threw it up, and I was at practice. Marcus grabbed it, and he's about right at the top of the square, right under the square, and he grabs it, and he looked over at me and smiled, and as he dunked it, and he put two hands in it. Now, that was at 280. I'm not saying what he was when he played for us and where he went to, and I knew that body was going to continue. He made a good choice. But I give it, when he was younger, he was
fat dudes don't play basketball.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to, and we kept sending him hot dogs over there to make sure he ate, so he wouldn't do it.
Neither does Brainiacs from Columbia. They don't play basketball either.
No doubt. Hey, listen, Marcus, the crazy thing is you're a better TV personality than a football or basketball player. How do you like that?
Hey, Sam,
I appreciate that, Max.
It's like when I hear him argue, I said, this is like when I was recruiting, because he wasn't coming to LSU. He was going to Miami. That knucklehead, when I first got in there, Miami was where he was going. He and Michael. Clayton was going to Florida State, and he was going to Daggone. That was the two hardest guys I ever recruited, and they were in Baton Rouge. I couldn't get them, and they went over there. But when I hear him argue, I say, God almighty, I'm going back to recruiting days. This is like when I was trying to convince him to come to LSU. And ask him.
You're used to it, Coach.
He'll text him in the middle of these.
You will.
He was getting on him.
You will hear Jimbo and Nick Saban tell stories about me what I didn't do. But anytime they start telling y'all those stories, America, ask both of them why they was at every damn sporting event I did to make sure I was going to sign with LSU.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.